Colonel Ganguly,
Yes.
Director Medical Services, Apollo Hospital, is here with us, and I'm sure Colonel Ganguly, being a services person in the past and having served the nation as an army person, is now serving the country through the healthcare services. And I think welcome, Colonel, to this wonderful show. And I'm sure that you'll give your perspective of how branding is going to help healthcare. Over to you, Colonel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As you are all aware, prevalence of infectious diseases has increased globally as humans have spread across the world. Outbreaks occur frequently, but every outbreak does not reach a global pandemic level such as the end COVID-19 has. All pandemics have had significant social and economic cost to humanity over centuries. In 2009, the SARS virus spread from China. It was a zoonotic virus, and it spread to about 26 countries. Quarantine proved effective in control. Globally, health professionals started efforts to improve outbreak responses, and the lessons were used to keep H1N1, Ebola, and Zika under control. COVID-19 has, however, stretched healthcare infrastructure of even the most developed countries, and it is expected to cause an unparalleled recession. With the lockdown and travel restrictions that are in place, private care has seen a severe financial constraint despite having more than half of hospital beds in the country. The ENY report, which has been done for FICCI, shows an occupancy falling to approximately 20 to 30% of normal, with linked effects on operational costs, EBITDA, and cash balances. This has resulted in many organizations looking at fixed costs, including manpower, and searching for innovations to recover and recoup. The best defense against any outbreak is a strong healthcare system. However, this pandemic has shown us the fallibility of many systems globally and also the ability to function in a crisis. India has been quick to respond with major actions, including some which will happen in the future, such as faster implementation for activities of public health emergencies, which are part of the National Disaster Management Plan. Community awareness towards hygiene will have a major positive effect long term. Gaps in care, particularly clinical diseases or chronic diseases, will have long-term effects. Improvement of government infrastructure and strengthening of public and private practice partnerships. Importance of supply chain management and reservoir stocks. And of course, an improvement, what we will see, I hopefully see with Make in India focus on equipment. Medical tourism, I think, will take a hit and will take some time to recover, at least in the short term. And of course, increase in the use of technology, telemedicine, emphasis, and on training. A lot of these activities will have an effect on how organizations brand themselves, and the ones which can brand themselves and show an effort to return to normal in a more agile manner are the ones that will actually make good in the post the COVID pandemic. Thank you.
I go to the next panelist, Colonel Ganguly. How do you see Indian healthcare industry has been a major sector in terms of providing to the nation in terms of volumes and numbers? How do you see the growth in this pandemic era and post this era?
Thank you. During the era, obviously, I mean, a lot of people have spoken about the fact that the patient footfall has dropped. A lot of electives were not happening. So there was a lesser workload that happened for a long time. Other panels have also spoken about the OPD footfall coming down and things like that. You used the word the new normal. So I think during the pandemic, I think certain things are going to become a new normal. Okay, we'll start with something like basic hospital infrastructure. Since the importance of an infectious disease has come to the forefront, possibly some specialties may get more significance, may get more importance. We're likely to see possibly some infrastructure changes in hospitals as to how patient flow occurs to make sure that patients are safe and cared for. Over here, of course, we're keeping the basic principle at the back of our mind that it's always going to be patient first. we are going to see a lot of role for technology, whether it's IT, whether it's telemedicine, whether it's teleconsults. We've had an amazing notification which has come in where telemedicine, teleconsults and teleprescriptions, which are something that was in the pipeline for over 2 decades. It's this pandemic that has suddenly enabled. The government has been positive enough to take this and has put through this act, which came up just a couple of weeks ago. But this work on this act has been going on with a very dedicated group for about 2 decades, and it's finally come through now. So this is possibly a sign that the government are going to be a little more proactive in dealing with the healthcare issues, and particularly with issues related to outbreaks.
Thank you so much, Colonel
One thing
Ganguly.
I did wanted to speak about was where the growth occurs is on the role of hospital operations. We have spoken about the losses and trials that hospitals are facing. But while people are looking at manpower costs and things like that, I think that's a little short-sighted to look at, because you cannot reduce your key manpower to deal with this kind of problem. The patients are there, the patients will come. But I think it puts a lot of pressure on hospital operations to address issues, to make the whole flow more efficient and to reduce wastage. It's good for the hospital, it's good for business, and ultimately it is going to be good for everybody concerned. And of course, the final thing is on infection prevention and control, something that is very important in hospitals and particularly tertiary care centers where transplants occur. But these are critical things which will make benefit for patients and will of course go a long way to keeping the bottom line down. And I think this is what will again take a lot of, should take a lot of impetus from healthcare organizations to keep this down.
Thank you, Colonel Ganguly. And it was very, very illuminating the way you answered the question. I think the viewers would have loved it. We go over to Colonel Ganguly, and we will be speaking about EHR adoption, electronic health records. Is it possible? Is it happening? Are we slow? How do we go about it? Over to you, Colonel Ganguly.
Thank you, GR. Electronic health records, of course, are something that have been around for a long time. It's an area which has tremendous people dependency. Obviously, IT, who will be designing the system, and from healthcare, people are obviously have to be involved in the design and need to be committed to the usage of the system. An ideal HIS or EMR, EHR should have the ability to be used across devices, should be possibly adapted to off-site usage. It will need a lot of attention to forms and formats, to ease of data entry, convenient dashboards. Obviously, the issues of security and confidentiality are important and will need to comply with existing laws as well. It will need to deal with some lag time for training of people who are going to be using it. Ultimately, AHRs are a culture of change. I mean, paper records have been available for ever since possibly healthcare started. But an EHR must go through a culture of change, because not everybody is comfortable using or documenting it, and healthcare workers, unfortunately, are very notoriously for poor documentation of whatever they do. So any EHR implementation plan must have the vision, must have the skill sets from people. It possibly may have some incentives, resources have to be made available, and must have a plan for implementation. In India, somehow EHRs have always undergone some kind of resistance, mainly from healthcare. There has possibly been an issue of communication between the people who are making the HIS and people who are on the user end of the HIS. What possibly COVID has shown us now that this is going to become more and more important, since we've spoken about GeoHealth and AI and machine learning and things like that. It is possibly going to become more and more imperative that healthcare organizations start using EHRs people, the frontline users, frontline providers of healthcare will have to come to terms with the fact that this is something that they will have to do, something that they will have to get into, will have to do the data entry properly. And I think it's just something whose time has come. It's something that is more or less inevitable, possibly with this pandemic in a shorter time frame. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was, as usual, insightful and illuminating.